Centeno. We're ready for our next fight. Let's go to Lupe Contreras.
Entrando a la jaula, Ricardo Centeno.
Ricardo Centeno training up in New York for this with Renzo Gracie, the 30-year-old, like so many in South America, starting with kickboxing. Then he looked to complete the platform, his portfolio, so to speak. Ecuadorian MMA is in its infancy, but he knows anytime he carries that flag, a chance to represent and show that it's coming along.
And there's been some top fighters coming out of that country that made their way to the big leagues, this man being one of them. Big opportunity for him, first time fighting in the United States.
Su rival, Marcos Lloreda.
Marcos Lloreda, the face of Freedom Fighters in Miami, looking to wipe away the bad taste of his mouth from his last fight in July. He lost to Colin Lubert's TKO punches in the second round. Prior to that, he was good enough to build a resume to be the #1 welterweight. He is from Miami. His family is Spanish, and he carries the Spanish flag inside La Jaula.
He looks like a different man in there since the last time we saw him against Colin Lubert. He said, I wasn't disciplined. I wasn't following my regimen. I've had lots more cardio, more intensity into my fight camp. I wear that big C on my chest. I'm the captain of my team of Freedom Fighters. When my coaches aren't there, I'm the one that takes the lead. So he has to prove to himself why he is the captain against Ricardo Centeno here tonight.
Yeah, Lloreda said people know that last fight wasn't the Marcos that they know. Everyone says there's excuses, but I will tell you, I will not look like that again as we go cara a cara. 5-inch reach advantage for Lloreda, 2 inches by the height. He is massive. We're ready. So is Lupe Contreras.
Continuamos con mucha más acción. 3 vueltas, división peso welter. We continue with much more action. 3 rounds in the welterweight division. Los jueces son, the judges are James Lázaro, Eliseo Rodríguez y Ricardo Celis. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un combate global. Presentando en la esquina azul, vestido de rojo, presenting the blue corner, wearing red, su peso oficial, 170 libras y un cuarto is official weight, 170 and 1/4 pounds. En 17 combates, mantiene un récord de 9 victorias y 8 derrotas. In 17 pro bouts, he maintains a record of 9 victories against 8 losses. Quito, Ecuador presente, Ricardo Centeno. Su rival en la esquina roja, vestido de negro, his opponent in the red corner, wearing black. Marcó un peso oficial de 170 libras y media. He registered an official 170 and 1/2 pounds. Esta noche entra a la jaula en su 20º combate a nivel profesional, con 11 victorias y 8 derrotas. Tonight, he enters la jaula for the 20th time as a pro, with 11 victories against 8 losses. Repping the MIA, Miami, Florida, el conquistador, Marcos Lloreda. El referee, Brian Miner.
Brian Miner, the 3rd inside La Jaula.
Gentlemen, full center. What are the rules? Fight hard, keep it clean. If you want to touch gloves, do it now. Good luck to you both.
Marcos Lloreda, 11-8, his 20th bout as a professional against Ricardo Centeno. This is his 18th professional bout.
You ready?
Crazy to
You ready?
Lloreda's first fight, 2013, coming on almost 10-year anniversary of being a professional mixed martial artist.
Interesting, Marcos Lloreda in black, and you mentioned how he's the captain of the Freedom Fighters. He says this is his 20th professional fight, his 26th fight overall. That Manuel Lopez, the head coach there, has been in his corner for all of them.
And that's something that, oh.
Uh-oh, Centeno coming in hot.
Oh, Centeno changing the pace here. In his previous fights, he's more of the counter puncher, more of a patient fighter, but he's bringing everything here tonight against Lloreda. And Max, to your point, nowadays, if you tend to go on a losing streak, you start to really contemplate and think about where you train. And some fighters tend to leave that camp because they say, maybe I can get something else. So that's something not as common, believe it or not, in MMA.
Marcos Lloreda put a lot of pressure on himself. He said you will not see the lack of disciplined fighter. We hear it from fighters again, although Centeno continues to connect, about how much you learn from a defeat. Well, Lloreda is putting that into effect. It wasn't that long ago, back in July. So far, we haven't seen the Marcos Lloreda that he would like us to see, but he is running into a buzzsaw in Centeno.
He's getting clipped there with some uppercuts and that just back and forth. Yeah, Lloreda needs to push the pace here.
Another one from Centeno. He's got Lloreda on the round.
It's like the spinning back elbow attempt from Lloreda.
Lloreda's face is already marked up. Got to get that jab going. Nothing behind that reverse kick.
Yeah, Lloreda's known for that flashiness. He needs to use those kicks, use that range to keep Centeno at the distance and then follow up with a combination.
Centeno.
Now, one thing I want to point though, Max, Centeno comes here as a bigger fighter physically, if you look at each other right here.
Yeah, we saw Lloreda, 6'2", that long reach, but Centeno's getting inside, having a ton of success. Yeah, he looks like a 170 pounder supposed to look like. Compact and powerful.
Curious to see if we pass this first round, how Centeno comes into the second. He comes back with the same energy.
Ricardo Centeno talking about Ecuador representing your country is one of the most gratifying experiences. I've been able to carry my flag to various places, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Peru. Now in the United States, one of my objectives when I started was to do it, and here I am.
One of the famous, well-known MMA fighters from Ecuador that comes to mind, not that many, but one of them being Chito Vera.
Who's tearing it up. It just takes a couple guys to inspire a couple more guys and girls. And then we've seen it with Mexico. Mexico was in the dark ages not that long ago in MMA. Now they have champions everywhere. It can happen quickly. Obviously, Mexico has the ecosystem of fighters with their boxing history. But still, you got to put in the work. You got to have success.
Look at this exchange here. And maybe
Dirty
this could
boxing
be,
inside.
It could be a plan for Lloreda. Keep that exchange going to get Centeno.
Maybe a low blow.
Right here.
Prime Minor will break them up. Lloreda already nodded, said he was okay, but you can get 5 minutes. And immediately you notice that mark right on his right cheek.
Get 5 minutes. Stay right there. Stay right there.
Yeah, the excess of muscles could come into play in the latter part of the fight, Max, but here it is, taking the replay. Oh!
Lloreda already waved off, said he was okay, but you take as much time as possible seeing how explosive Centeno's been?
Yes, but it depends too on the fighter, because that in a way was benefiting Lloreda. Maybe that is the game plan, to get Centeno to just keep striking to get him exhausted.
I thought you were going to say getting hit in the groin is having a cafecito.
No, absolutely
Maybe
not.
it is.
I don't get him made of steel, Max.
We've seen it before. It just can fire some people up. No one wants to get hit down there. Lead leg swept out there by Centeno. Wild overhand right, and Centeno's just much more precise with his striking. Switches angles.
Lloreda's just waiting. I think he has something up his sleeve here.
He's trying to lure him in.
See, because Centeno will come in and then he'll back off. He's not as consistent.
New rankings should be coming out shortly. Lloreda's still listed at 170-pound #1, and that's a list that's going to grow because a lot more 170-pounders have been entering the ecosystem of Combate just over the last 2 months.
Lloreda does have those long legs. He tried to kick him, Centeno, there, but he doesn't want to do it from that place. He has to have that little distance.
Better from Lloreda. He came in. He missed with the right hand, but that's what he's trying. He's got that big power punch.
Lloreda does have a back. Oh, great left hand from Lloreda. And again, a little boxing in there, dirty boxing between the two. Yeah, the clinch work. Great overhand hook, underhand hook.
Fifth fight for, oh, good punch by Centeno, route one. Fifth fight in Combate for Lloreda. And it looks like it's going to be an uphill battle as we get ready for round two. Still some things to work out for Marcos Lloreda. I like what you said. He's waiting for that moment. But you can wait so much, and in between the wait, Centeno's taking advantage.
He doesn't, and I'll get to the point why he doesn't, but let's take a look at some of the action here. Centeno did land that knee. Now the clinch work. Got a low kick. Took Lloreda back with that shot. And a little dirty box in between there. Centeno getting the upper hand with some uppercuts. Lloreda with some shots though with that right hand, right hook. Centeno though very persistent, coming right at him. Curious to see what's gonna happen in this second round.
Getting ready for round two. Marcos Lloreda's gonna have to dig deep. El Capitan of the Freedom Fighters. He had some time with Marcos. Bettis in the sandwich certainly is positive.
And to the point, Max, that you said right before, between rounds, they may have something up his sleeve. This is something that he faced when he took on Ivan Choco Castillo, where he thought he won the fight, but the fight went the distance, and he ended up losing that fight. So he has to put the pedal to the metal if he wants to win this fight.
Lloreda pretty active. Castillo fight was one of 3 fights last year. This is his second fight in 2022. Said his camp was much more intense and humble. A lot more resistance training. You have to learn from defeat, and maybe another low blow.
Right there.
Couldn't see. In fact, Lloreda even shoved off Centeno. Let's take a look at the replay. I don't think it was as hard as that previous one.
I can confirm.
Yes.
It was not.
It was not. Maybe, see, now this is Centeno using those 5 minutes. Look at this replay. Yeah, I don't think.
Centeno's wiggling around like he's trying to find some change in his couch.
Sure,
right there.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do if you're given those 5 minutes. And if you notice the two in that 1 minute break between rounds, Centeno sat down on his stool. He was a little heavy breathing there.
Let's go. Come on. Right.
So he took advantage of that time.
And neither fighter took a lot of time, but we'll see how that manifests itself. Second round, not a lot of output from Lloreda, but he's looking for the big punch. Centeno caught him. Centeno comes in with ferocity. Just so much faster. He said one of his goals was to compete in the United States. He's here, the knee catches Lloreda.
I must say though, I am impressed with Centeno. He's like a savage in there, chasing Lloreda, fast pace. Unlike his previous fights where he's more of the counter puncher, he's more of the patient one, the defensive one. He's on the offensive here.
Yes, and the first round goes to Centeno, so this could be a benchmark moment for him. He said it's very gratifying to see where I have come from. I carry photos from when I started fighting, speaking of Centeno in red, in garages. And now I'm proud to be fighting in the big leagues in the United States. And if he wins this, he can be really proud of his accomplishment, beating the #1 welterweight. He is all over Lloreda.
Yeah, Lloreda needs to move. He needs to cut the angles because every time he comes at him with those flurries, Centeno is connecting. He's eating some of those shots. Yeah, Lloreda has those kicks. He has that big, long legs.
Yeah, Lloreda gives one and takes 2.
Also, work on some of those low kicks to break down Centeno from moving.
You get to see how big Lloreda is when they are framed up. Centeno's training certainly shining through. He looks precise, a man with a plan.
Yeah, but look at Centeno. His energy's coming a little low. Why do you think he's trying to attempt to take the fight to the floor, Max?
Over the head top there by Centeno. Much better applying the pressure.
Now this is Lloreda's chance right here to be the aggressor, to chase Centeno and flip the page. And you hear that, you hear Lloreda's corner. Let's go. He needs that aggression. Look at Centeno. Now he's back. Now he's backing up a bit. He's not being on the offensive side here because he's trying to catch his breath. Now Lloreda's setting him up. He's using that reach.
Keeps doing that little hip swivel. I think Centeno feels it gets him where he needs to be, but he's flipped that about 3 or 4 times. Lloreda takes a big punch after the kick, looking a little wobbly.
And that's the second time that Lloreda throws that kick, and Centeno attempts to grab it and go for a takedown.
Oh, Centeno again, short left hand connects. Lloreda is just not on the same wavelength speed-wise.
Yeah.
Or power, really, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, physically, you can see the big difference here between these two.
Did you hear Lloreda's corner? He goes, he's resting now.
Yeah.
Maybe see an opportunity for some offense.
And that's what I've been saying. Centeno, that's why he's not as being the aggressor as we saw him in that first round. And that's when Lloreda has to capitalize.
At least an attempt at a power punch by Lloreda. It almost connected.
That's when all that extra cardio, extra intensity in his training comes into play.
Oh, another big right hand. Centeno, every time Lloreda stands in the trenches there, he pays a price. He's covering up that right eye.
I must say, though, even though Centeno is not being as offensive, every time Lloreda comes in, he'll let him throw one, and then he'll connect.
Max Bretos, Rodolfo Roman here. A reminder, we're heading to the top of the hour, the Bantamweight World Championship. The man who is regarded as the best pound-for-pound fighter ever out of Mexico, David Martinez, defending his strap against Axel Osuna. It's going to be fantastic. Stick around. We'll get you there. We got a lot of great action between then and now. Lloreda looking to finish strong here in round 2. Oh, another left by Centeno. End of round 2. Ricardo Centeno, perhaps on his way to judges' decisions in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, let's take a look at this action here. Centeno picking up right where he left off in that first round as an offensive fighter, striking in that clinch work here, a little dirty boxing between the two. He attempted for the highlight reel with that flying knee, failed in that attempt. Either way, he followed through once again. But midway through this round, Centeno's energy level came down just a bit. And Lloreda, well, he needs to pick up the pace.
We are back for round 3. Marcos Lloreda cut up, beat up. Thanks to that man, Ricardo Centeno. In between rounds, Manuel Lopez, eye to eye with Lloreda. Lloreda said that he's like a father to me, I'm a son to him, and Lopez, who knows what he was saying, but it was one of those moments like, this is it.
Yeah, Centeno's corner said, this is your fight. This is it. And he was feeling it right here, right before we get started. I don't know what the delay is.
It's been a stop and start fight. 2 stoppages due to low blows, 1 for each fighter.
I don't see what the... Well, the corner, Centeno say keep using that right hand.
Okay, round 3 is underway. Ricardo Centeno in red. He has 9 professional victories. 7 are won by TKO, 2 by submission. So all his wins have finished. What will happen here? He's never gone to decision and seen his arm raised, and maybe there's a reason for that, although he starts to bang again.
Centeno starting off fresh. Lots of energy. Whoa.
And they gave it to Lloreda.
Okay.
Mildly surprised, majorly surprised. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Now Lloreda, if he caught ear of that, that's got to be inspiring.
Oh, he caught him there with that right hand. That's what the corner's been saying. Use that right hand.
Lloreda can take a punch. That much is true.
Yep. He's been taking a few, and he still comes back, resilient. So it's anyone's fight, Max.
Trying to get that jab going. Set up the power punch for Lloreda.
That jab is there all day. He needs to use that reach and follow up with those right hooks. Set up the combination with the kicks. He has great kicks. He'll throw in some flashy kicks every now and then and spinning elbows. Look right there.
Just above the belt. Lloreda, always a great prospect. 5-1 as an amateur, training for 12 years. Centeno combination. Lloreda slips on La Jaula. That was a pretty significant slip. Lucky to get his footing again.
Now we're in the center of La Jaula. This is where it benefits Lloreda. Let's see if he sets the pace, sets the tone of the fight. Look at that right hook.
Got in there.
Yeah, he got in there. Not with a lot of power, but it did clip him.
That lead leg, and we saw Lloreda hit it once. It's kind of just sitting there asking for attention from Lloreda, but he's not responding. Covering up again that right eye. He's been doing that the last 2 rounds.
Again, this fight really reminds me of that fight that he had against Castillo. And you don't want to leave it to the judges because it didn't go his way.
He is yo-yoed back and forth with wins and losses in his Combate career. Again, this is his 5th. First started fighting in 2013. Actually won by an armbar in the first round. More from Centeno. Heavy punches, tight quarters, dirty boxing.
Great stuff from Centeno, I must say. Great striking.
Blood starting to flow from that right eye. I don't know if Lloreda's hurt there, but he continues to protect it. You can see the blood, but we don't know internally how bad it is. There's some, first time we're seeing him with the jab. It's worked.
It has, because he has that,
good right hand,
that right hand. Yep, but he has to follow up.
2 minutes to go here, round 3. Again, it's all even after 2 rounds. Centeno looking a little tired. Certainly not as fresh as we saw him, to be expected.
He's almost there, like when your car starts going bing. Time to fuel up.
Where's the station? Hopefully he's not in the middle of a desert. I wouldn't know, we're going electric here.
But Lloreda, look, that low kicks are there to set up the combination.
Good left hand by Centeno. Fighting for himself, fighting for Ecuador.
Once he gets in that exchange, though, Centeno is having the advantage, landing in the uppercuts and hooks. Look at another one there. Yeah, Lloreda needs to tick to that jab. He has a minute to go.
It's actually been a better round for Lloreda.
Yeah.
We see if he wins this round, he wins this fight.
He may pull this off.
It would help to have a grandstand final minute. Blood really pouring from that right eye. I wonder if it's worse than it looks, and it looks pretty bad.
This last minute's gonna make a huge difference in what the judges see, Max. And right now, Lloreda's looking good.
And I think Centeno's gonna attack that right orbital area of Lloreda because it's hurt and there's blood all over.
There's another clip there, left hand.
Centeno's hurt Lloreda, but Lloreda has withstood the pain, withstood the flurries. 25 seconds to go, round 3. Welterweight clash.
Won't be surprised if both these guys just in the last seconds just go all out.
This is it. Sneaky little right hand by Lloreda, it all matters.
Centeno called him in for the dance.
You can see the Freedom Fighters corner urging him on. He just has it in his foot. Root one, powerful right hand from Centeno. He puts a little stamp on his calling card. Is it enough? This is going to be edge of your seat decision time. But somebody's gonna win it. I won't ask Rodolfo, he doesn't like predictions.
You put me on the spot again, right?
I wouldn't want to predict this one. It is super close. We'll be back with the official decision. Centeno Lloreda going the distance. Well, one thing we do know is Marcos Lloreda, a warrior taking a beating. He's getting a lot of attention around his right eye. But will the judges see it that way?
He might pull this off, Max, and I think it was that latter part of that third round where Lloreda had the upper hand in the exchange with that jab that was working for him.
Good fight. Two big
Very good
dudes
stuff.
going at
Yeah.
it.
Good stuff. Shout out to the matchmakers putting this stuff
We're
together.
very excited because we know in Combate the weight classes from 125 and 155 is the majority of our fights. 170, it's getting better. We are back here, Combate Global. It is going to decision. Centeno on the left, round one. Lloreda on the right, round two. It all comes down to round three. Lupe Contreras, if you will.
Después de 3 vueltas, esta es la decisión oficial. El juez Lázaro anotó 29-28 a favor de Centeno. This is the official scorecard after 3 rounds. Judge Lázaro scores at 29-28 in favor of Centeno. El juez Rodríguez, 29-28 a favor de Lloreda. Judge Rodríguez scores at 29-28 in favor of Lloreda. Y el juez Celis anotó 29-28. Judge Celis scores at 29-28 in favor of the winner by way of split decision. A favor del vencedor por decisión dividida. El conquistador, Marco